beautiful people, welcome back to our channel. My name is Leo.
And my name is Andy, and today we're checking out the top 10 most creative freerunners.
Shout out to Jimmy.
I'm pretty sure I'm somewhere in this list because, you know, yeah, boy bails a lot, so I always have to learn how to land without
it says creative.
ending my whole career.
It doesn't say bloopers.
But it's
doesn't
creative.
say American.
The way I fail,
funny videos.
The way I fail is gonna be creative. I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna learn from this.
It's okay.
And in the newer version, you're gonna see top 10 most creative freerunners, and I'll probably be number 10 or maybe an honorable mention. Who knows? You never know, bro. But until then, I'm just trolling every one of you beautiful people. We're checking out Jimmy. Jimmy, I heard you're the giant, bro. Jimmy the giant. Leave me alone, Leo. I'm having my moments. Now I shall press the damn button. We'll probably put that on a shirt someday.
Yes,
so we
hope
you beautiful people will purchase our merch
use your forehead
in the future. It says press the damn button, and it's gonna be my ugly looking finger. I don't know. What do you think? Like this?
This man hasn't heard me yet.
Or like this. It'd be cool. Y'all let us know.
Your forehead
like this.
Can touch the button.
It's I'm tired of this, man. With my forehead, bro.
The weird, the wonderful, and the wacky.
Gee.
Parkour isn't all just about big jumps, perfect landings, and things like that. For many, parkour is about creativity.
Okay.
But
Sheesh.
who are the most creative freerunners in the game? In today's video, I'm going to give you a list of my top 10 most creative freerunners. Let's go. First on this list is the German freerunner, an absolute OG.
Jason!
A legend.
Jason Paul started parkour at the age of 14, so he's pretty much been in the sport for 15 whole years.
14, bro!
And for most of that time, he's been considered one of the best athletes in the game. Many incredible athletes have come and gone over the last 15 years, but not Jason. Jason has managed to stay at the absolute creative forefront of parkour the whole time. Whether that's through his unique approach to doing parkour itself, or his clothing designs for Team Farang, or his endlessly creative videos that he makes with Red Bull. Jason's parkour style
wild!
After talking to him, he explained to me how his style came about, and I found it quite interesting. Jason grew up in the town of Frankfurt in Germany, and there was something very unique about growing up there that created the style that we all love today. What he told me was that in Frankfurt, they didn't really have the typical free running spot. You know, like two walls next to each other to do a Kong Pre or a running precision or something like that. His spots weren't typical. In order for him to be able to do anything, he had to get very creative with the spot. And he started to find creative lines within these spots that were very unique to the architecture itself. So for Jason, what could have been seen as a setback, you know, not having great spots, actually became his strength. It gave Jason this ability to view spots in a different way to most people and develop his mindset towards finding challenges. Genuinely, I have such a deep respect for Jason Paul, not just for his parkour, but his entrepreneurial and creative mind. He created one of the first parkour clothing brands, and I think he was the first to get sponsored by Red Bull.
Damn.
Clean, bro.
And even with Red Bull, it's not like he just shouts out their product. They give him insane budgets to just create these ridiculous ideas and bring them to life.
Super Mario?
Never compromising on his individuality and his creativity. Jason is a true legend in the scene and one of my main inspirations. Aww. On to athlete number 2.
Real quick, it's kind of crazy because we just finished literally watching a story that he posted, or a post that he posted on his Instagram about doing a cartwheel. Makes it look so easy, different levels, not easy at all. You guys should check it out. Just saying.
Athlete number 2 is a little bit different from most on this list. We'll get into that in a moment.
Skillshare have very kindly sponsored today's
Whoa!
I don't know
the skills are what is going on? Crazy. Big respects to Jimmy doing his thing. Gotta make your bread. You gotta make your bread.
Not sponsored.
You know? Check out Skillshare with Jimmy, or just go to the original link that we'll post in the description so you guys can actually watch the whole ad. Alright, cool. Love ya.
Think of a creative freerunner. They think of someone who has insane tricks, aerial awareness, flips, etc. However, athlete number 2 doesn't really have that. And that athlete is
definitely
Shane
got
Griffin.
Grips. My bad. I literally said.
And that athlete is Shane Griffin.
Shane Griffin. Got it.
Shane is known for his incredibly unique, fast-paced climbing style. Shane is probably as close as you can get to Assassin's Creed in real life.
Okay.
Shane has a background in rock climbing, and he's a professional course rigger for Ninja Warrior. This has led Shane to making one of the most impressive styles to watch. Many of the other athletes that are going to be on this list have a high range of flips and tricks, but what I find interesting about Shane is that isn't his strong point, yet he still manages to be one of the most creative athletes in the game. And that's because creativity in parkour often comes down to how an athlete views a spot. If an athlete arrives at a spot and just sees the most obvious things that are there, you know, a Kong precision, a stand-in precision, an arm jump, they often aren't going to be the most creative. The ones who really stand out are the ones that find things that no one else does. I had the pleasure of spending a whole day with Shane and trying to keep up with his climbs, but I made a video that really delved into how he looks at spots and how he finds his challenges. And honestly, watching him come up with this stuff is like watching a genius at work. Look, Shane wasn't the first person to take rock climbing and put it in an urban environment. There's a whole thing called buildering, which is exactly that. But what Shane does very differently is the pace of which he does his climbs. People who do buildering tend to be very slow and intricate with their movement. Shane does pretty much the same difficulty of climb, but about 10 times quicker. Personally, Shane is one of my favourite athletes to watch. His videos over on Ampi-Sound are some of my favourite videos ever. Athlete number 3. Athlete number 3 also comes from Germany, and his name is Janice Shower. Janice is kind of this mysterious entity in the parkour world. He is what you could call your favourite freerunner's favourite freerunner. He keeps a very low profile, and unless you're a friend of his, you probably don't know a lot about him. He doesn't post to Instagram very often or YouTube, but once a year, Janice Shower puts out one video on his YouTube channel, which is basically a summary of all his parkour achievements of that year. These videos are incredible. They act as a kind of inspiration board for the rest of the parkour community. Nearly every top-level freerunner will go and watch Janice's new video, see all the innovations he's made, and quickly try to learn them. However, very recently, and very sadly, Janice announced that his most recent show reel would be his last, which is incredibly sad to hear as a long-time fan. That aside, what makes Janice such a good athlete is his attitude towards parkour. He's pioneered and progressed so many movements, like the flip precision, and very recently he did a side flip precision to a rail and then slid down it. It was literally mind-blowing. Janice has such high levels of power, technique, and style, which basically enables him to let his mind go wild when he's at a spot. Because if he can see something and come up with it, he's physically capable of doing it in a controlled manner. Honestly, there isn't much I know about Janice as a person. I've never met him, I've never trained with him, so I don't really know a lot about him. But there's kind of a purity to that, which I do admire. That being said, I would love to see Janice start making more content, either on Instagram or YouTube. I would love to see him make videos where he explains his thought process and how he comes up with the lines that he does. But whatever he does decide to do, I'm sure he'll continue to train and innovate and inspire athletes for years to come.
Sheesh! You know it's crazy,
Athlete number 4
bro.
is...
You know it's crazy? Shameless plug. If you guys didn't know, we've watched a little bit of like free climbing. So if you guys want to check that out, it's in a playlist that we have, extreme sports kind of, you know. So if you guys want to check that out, because it's kind of cool to see, you know, the modern day climbing off the houses and stuff. That was pretty crazy. And if you guys haven't noticed, we did a reaction to Capstone, the English project, if I'm not mistaken, or England project. I don't know. It's one of those two. But you guys could, if you guys can, just go check it out if you haven't, because that was our first time running into Janice, which is cool, because hopefully real soon we'll react to Janice. And yeah, shout out.
Marks. Now, I do intend on making a full video about Marks. I want to spend a day with him, document him, and just show the world how creative and interesting he is as a person. So if you want to see that, comment below.
Sheesh.
However, Marks is one of the most fascinating athletes in the game. Marks just has this style of parkour that is just unparalleled. Marks has this ability to tightly pack in very high-level tricks with extremely powerful movements into these very novel and fast-paced lines.
What the?
I think a lot of Marks' creativity comes around his ability to cram things together. Every moment in one of his runs seems to have a purpose. There's rarely ever any dead space in one of his lines. Every movement is purposeful and it feels like it needs to be there. This results in Marks having this kind of strange style that's flowy, but not in your traditional sense of the word flow like Foskey, all whilst being insanely powerful. And I don't really know how he does it, because most athletes that have that explosive power look a little bit clunky when they put things together, but Marks just makes it work. Marks or Joe wouldn't mind me saying this, but I think some of his creativity comes down to his autism. Marks is very open about it, and although he's not a psychologist and couldn't tell me exactly, he told me what he did think autism helped with, and that is his ability to put him in flow states. He gets incredibly highly focused when he does parkour, and he feels like this focus allows him to see things that most people would just not think about.
Okay, big respects, big respects.
Over the years, he endlessly develops new tricks and gets obsessed with finding ways to implement them in new spots, such as quite recently his dive cartwheels, round-off kongs,
Sheesh.
lamppost lashes, and back fall downs. Marks was saying that throughout life in general, he gets into these phases where he finds something new and unique and just gets obsessed with it and gets really, really good at it really quickly. And that could be anything from learning a new parkour move to learning how to make an e-bike.
Okay.
Yeah, boy.
Electrical bike.
To learning how to draw or writing a parkour workout program. He just gets this tunnel vision, focuses in on something and perfects it. I often wonder if this unique and abstract way of viewing spots and committing to get insanely good at things comes down to, in part, his unique mind and how that shaped his creativity. Anyway,
facts,
next athlete.
Man.
Athlete number 5.
It's incredible.
And that athlete is Josh Burnett Blake.
Oh, man.
Josh
Hello.
is in Stora and now lives down in Brighton, but he was an OG member of the Red Hill parkour scene. Josh's style is kind of hard to define. I would say it's low impact, flowy, and neatly packed together runs. But he also has this talent for finding unique ways of moving in and out of tight spaces.
Sheesh.
What I mean by that is he'll like slide through a gap in a bar or something like that in a weird way that
Don't embarrass
I've never
yourself.
seen before. The C&J series is where you really see Josh's style in full effect. This series is created with the incredibly talented filmmaker Chris Thompson, who is also a great freerunner. And you can tell this style of video focuses on making lines that look really good on camera, but not just in a normal way, but in the style that suits the C&J series. And Josh tells me that Chris has always really inspired him creatively. There was a single moment that changed Josh's style forever, and that was when he popped a ligament out of his ankle. I don't know if popping a ligament is a scientifically accurate term, but he said he basically did a dive cat pass, slipped out on the landing, and felt his ligament pop out of his ankle. And he had to take a long time out of parkour to just slowly rebuild and re-strengthen his ankle. And I can only imagine how daunting this would have been for Josh, as his career with Stora really relies on him being able to do parkour. However, this major setback led Josh to finding his very distinct style that we see today. Josh is kind of elusive himself. He has a big following on Instagram, but he doesn't really post that often. But over on his personal Instagram is where you can really see his creativity shine. Not only in his movement, but in his fashion. Much of this new wave of parkour fashion, like cargo joggers, vests, bucket hats, tucking your joggers into your socks, Josh was one of the earlier people to wear that kind of style, and no doubt helped popularize it. Josh also has a very deep love for anime, and you can see that in his movement. But it's not just me that recognises how stylish Josh is.
Anime!
He's had more work for Primark and Nike.
Anime.
Okay,
You also get a glimpse of Josh's creativity through his Instagram stories. He does these kind of contextless streams of cool photography and stuff he likes.
Okay. No,
The next
these guys
athlete
will
is
get
another
along
old school
perfectly.
legend, and that is
The pop muscles. I get along with the anime, and then all the photography and cool looking.
Is that who said he
fashion
wants to
stuff.
be friends with you?
All right, bro. All right. You don't have to kill the
Just
vibe.
says
for me,
pest him,
bro.
Oleg Vorslav. All the way back in 2009, Oleg pretty much changed the whole parkour world with one video, and that video was called Out of Time. This video in part gave rise to the highly creative freerunning styles that we see today. Throughout the 2000s, Oleg was really a pioneer of creativity within the sport.
Jeez.
However, 11 years on in 2020, and Oleg still is blowing my mind constantly. Oleg's creativity is possibly more evident than ever right now. He recently released this half-hour film that was totally self-produced, self-made, onto his YouTube channel, and I don't even have words for this. This film was like nothing I've seen before. Like, regardless of parkour, like, this was one of the most creative things I've seen. The film he made has this kind of like Jungle Book cartoonish style, like something you might have seen in an old Disney film. And the whole thing is built around this incredible album of music that Oleg made himself. Like, honestly, when the first track comes in, it absolutely snaps. It's so good. It comes in and he does this jump across a river, and my god man, it was cool. From rapidly scaling up mountains to swinging through trees like Tarzan, and even fighting a bear, this film has it all. Oleg's ability to use parkour as a means of expression is arguably what gave rise to this action comedy style, which has become very popular in recent years. I really genuinely hope that some producer or some casting director gets a hold of Oleg, gives him some insane budget, and just lets his creativity run wild. Honestly, it's criminal to me that his video only got 4,000 views. I'd really genuinely appreciate if you guys went and check that out. Do yourself a favour. The man is a legend in the parkour world and really deserves the recognition.
That's fire.
Athlete number 7 is a direct protege of Oleg Vorslav. I would have liked to have kept this list totally unique from my top 10 freerunners list, but I can't make a video called Top 10 Most Creative Freerunners without featuring Pasha the Boss. You can really see Oleg's influence in Pasha's movement. I think I'm correct in saying that Oleg and Pasha trained together way back in the 2000s, which would make sense from the way that Pasha moves. He has this very expressive and comical style. He's able to bring a character and life into his movement that makes people laugh, and that's why he calls it action comedy. As I was saying, his lines have this kind of comedic approach.
That's fire.
And I was trying to think to myself, what is it that makes Pasha's movement funny? And I think a lot of it comes down to the element of surprise and misdirection. Pasha will very often stand there and make you think he's going to do one thing, but then do something totally opposite. Or he'll go to a spot and just do a move that you've never seen before, but in an unexpected, weird way. There's often this feeling you get when you watch Pasha where you're kind of waiting for him to do something. And I think that is very similar to waiting for a gag in a stand-up set. We all know something's coming, but we don't know quite what it is. And when it hits us and it's not expected, it makes you laugh. I hope one day Pasha gets on YouTube properly and starts making videos that just go through him and his creative process. I've said that for a few athletes now, I just really want more people on YouTube. In fairness, we do get to see quite a bit of Pasha in Flip Like Z's vlogs, which is great, I love seeing that, but it'd be really cool to get a more personal feel from Pasha himself. Anyway, athlete number 8. Athlete number 8 is a Dutch freerunner by the name of Bart van der Linden. Bart, much like Oleg and Jason, is another OG in the parkour world, and he even has a kid. You know, he's an actual adult, like a real one. What I find interesting is how many old school freerunners are still relevant to this list. Like, to this day, they are still innovating the sport and are very much at the forefront of the scene. And whilst I think about it, I think that comes down to the fact that flowy and creative movement is often less impactful, meaning that athletes, as long as they take care of their body, can keep it up longer than super powerful and explosive athletes. Basically, because the older you get, the less impact your body can take. Anyway, despite Bart's busy life as being a father, he is able to put out consistent content to Instagram and work professionally in the parkour commercial world. Bart is just known for his seamless flow. Like, every movement is supposed to be there, they move perfectly into one another, and there's always some new innovative thing he brings to the table. Where some athletes struggle to cleanly connect moves to each other, this is where Bart really shines. Bart makes everything look purposeful. I spoke to Bart a bit about his creative style, and he told me something I found really interesting, and that is that he often builds his line around a surprise moment. He likes putting in a trick that will just catch you off guard and make you say, wow. On top of this, Bart also has a very unique way of coming up with ideas for tricks, which is pretty much the opposite of how most freerunners do it. I'll give you an example. Most freerunners will learn a trick in the gym, so it could be like a Kong gainer or something like that. Then they'll go out and try and find somewhere that they can do that trick, whereas Bart does it the other way round. Bart will go to a spot and look at everything. He'll look at the obvious things, the less obvious things, then he will take all of that and come up with an idea. That idea will be unique to that spot. He will find something that is totally unique that you couldn't do somewhere else, then he'll recreate it, maybe in a gym or something like that, and work on this thing that he's come up with. And then once he's got it, he'll go back to the spot and pull it off, which is such a cool way of doing it. It's letting the spot inspire you, which is ideal because every spot is different, and to use those differences to create something totally unique. On top of all that, Bart does just have a high level of movement, which allows him to go to spots that most people wouldn't consider a spot and find something cool to do. For instance, in this clip, this is just a rail and a pole. Like 90% of people, myself included, wouldn't find anything to do here. Yet Bart is able to make a very cool line out of this incredibly limited setup. Whilst a lot of athletes focus on bigger jumps and better landings, Bart focuses on expanding his fluency of just general movement, so that when he does go to a spot, he can kind of do everything he can think of.
Oh my god.
Athlete number 9 is a group of athletes. Technically, it's about 5 people. And I know you probably want me to pick an individual, but I really wanted to present these guys as a team. And that is Spin Boys. I've grouped them together because as a team, they are collectively expanding parkour and the style that is evolving from that. Similar to athletes like Josh Malone, Spin Boys kind of focus on this new unique wave of movement, which involves off-axis flips, weird grabs and spins. Often they have quite modest setups. A lot of posts from JBPK is literally him and a flat wall, but yet he still manages to come up with things that are just so eye-catching and amazing. I always love seeing athletes that are able to utilise simple spots and create something new and interesting. These guys are repping Asia big time, and they're just creating a unique style and getting publicity for it, which is really cool to see. I really like in how different parts of the world, the architecture and the background of movement-based sports can just shape new styles of parkour, which in turn ends up influencing the whole parkour world.
It looks so easy, dog. This one, it's like the Lego.
And finally,
holding
athlete
the leg,
number 10,
flipping.
and that is a Russian athlete by the name of Archie Aroyan.
Archie
Archie just has this insane tricking repertoire, which apparently he's only been into for about 2 years, but he's managed to perfectly transition it into his parkour lines. He's able to string together these incredibly fast-paced and snappy runs. Archie, much like Spin Boys and Josh Malone, are very representative of this new wave of parkour. This kind of hybrid between tricking and free running that's getting really popular lately. Archie even had a video collab with Shiva from Spin Boys that featured on the Farang channel. When speaking to Archie, he told me he takes a lot of inspiration from the tricker Shoshi Iwamoto. I'm probably saying that wrong. And the free runner Nico Flo. I really do love this style of high level tricking mixed into these very complicated free running lines. On top of this, Archie's had pretty good success in the parkour competitive circuit. Him and his team Rizu Project all seem quite focused on really expanding this new flowy style of parkour. Or free running or tricking, whatever you want to call it. It's a hybrid style that's just really cool to watch. Anyway, let me know in the comments who your top 10 most creative free runners are. Like this video, subscribe to the channel for more content. If you want to support me further, consider donating to me on Patreon or by using my Skillshare link in the description. Peace.
Number 11 would be me.
Stop lying, bro. Huge shout out to Jimmy. Very is that even a word? Informational. I don't. I'm making up words at this point. I think. I don't know. I could be wrong. Definitely appreciate the video. Once again, we get to see other free runners that we probably haven't seen before, which is super cool.
The Spin Boys.
I think we definitely seen Archie. I think we did the Art of Motion, one of the Art of Motion submissions, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, the Spin Boys.
There's
a couple other people in there.
Inward flips for me, Chief.
Definitely those like leg grabbing, water flipping. I can't even
listen.
Yeah, you know.
I wanna learn how to do a cartwheel.
We can't even cartwheel, bro.
I wanna learn how to do a cartwheel.
It's like we gotta take baby steps, and it's like
that is my goal this year is to learn how to do a cartwheel.
I don't know. For me, it's like, it's trying to be like I said, like watching how creative they are. I don't want to be, even if I fall, I want to make it look like flawless. You know, not like that one story that I posted. That he posted on SimplyTwoDudes.
Is that sometimes we post videos of our parkour fails on Instagram, so you guys want to follow us there. It's SimplyTwoDudes.
Dang, bro, shameless plug, bro.
If you're new to the channel, I'm gonna need you to subscribe.
Dang, bro, shameless outro.
Hit that post notification about to see you posting another video. Like this video if you like the video for the boys. And don't forget to comment down below what video we should react to.
Huge shout out to all the free runners in this video, and once again to Jimmy for an amazing video. Yeah.
And we'll see you beautiful people in the next one.
Real soon.
Keep it simple.
Hopefully
all times.
Healthy and not injured.
Yeah, with the pull calf.
And I'm going to go use the restroom because I've been sitting here for a minute. So love y'all. Stay safe. We'll see you soon.
Okay.
Bye.